In our last lecture, we have started with reciprocating compressor and seen one of the case, that is compression without clearance. In today's session, we will study compression with clearance, and further we will see what is volumetric efficiency. This is Faizan Kagbi and I welcome you all to our lecture series of basic mechanical engineering. So let's quickly begin with our topic of compression with clearance case. So the PV diagram is displayed on the screen. So let's understand this pressure versus volume diagram. For this we need to consider our case. Remember, there is a clearance between cylinder head and its top dead center. Clearance volume is provided. Okay, so think accordingly. Now piston is going to move from TDC to BDC. At that time suction stroke will be performed due to pressure difference. Air is going to enter into a cylinder and cylinder will be completely filled when it reaches its BDC position. In our next stroke, that is a delivery stroke, piston moves from its BDC towards the TDC side. Now when a piston moves from BDC to TDC, at that time air is going to be compressed, its pressure is going to increase along with its temperature. Right. Now when air is delivered to a air receiver, even after that, because of a clearance volume, some amount of compressed air will always be present in a clearance volume. Remember. So that let's say that a required delivery pressure is of a 10 bar, which means the compressed air of a 10 bar, some amount, very less amount will be present in a clearance volume. Now what effect this compressed air can do on our process? So we would say that in our next cycle, again a first stroke will be our suction stroke, right? So when it is going to move from TDC to BDC, the expansion of that compressed air will first take place, which means some portion of suction stroke during which a fresh air has to enter into a cylinder is just wasted in expanding that compressed air. Why? Because if a compressed air is present in a cylinder, so pressure will not be reduced below atmospheric pressure and fresh air cannot enter into a cylinder and inlet valve cannot be opened, right, even during a suction stroke. So some portion of our suction stroke is just wasted in expansion of that compressed air which was obtained during our previous cycle. So this is represented by the curve 3 to 4, representing that at a point 3 at a TDC position some portion of air is present, but due to that presence of air, a piston during a next stroke is going to be expanded slightly, represented by the curve 3 to 4, till it reaches its initial intake pressure condition, that is point number 4. So we would say that from point number 4, the new air or fresh air intake will start. So from 4 to 1, we would say intake of fresh air will take place till piston reaches its one position, that is BDC position. So this 4 to 1 represents the effective stroke volume, or even it's called effective swept volume. Remember this, and it is denoted by VAS. As you can see on your screen, I have shown. And VS is the stroke volume, which is a distance between a TDC to BDC. Now our next stroke is our delivery stroke. So in that stroke, piston will move from its BDC position towards TDC position. So this is represented from point number 1 to point 2, representing a adiabatic compression process. Let's say that at point number 2 we have achieved our required delivery pressure, that is our 10 bar pressure. Now from point 2 to point 3, it is just representing a delivery of that compressed air. While this process, delivery valve will open and compressed air will be delivered to our air receiver. Again from point number 3, we would say this represents that the compressed air which is present, again its expansion is going to take place from 3 to 4. So we would say that this expansion is according to adiabatic process. So we can say it is an adiabatic expansion from state 3 to state 4. Okay guys, so I hope that you are clear with this diagram. Now let's begin with the derivation of work input to a compressor. Considering our first case, that is if there is a adiabatic compression, so we can say that adiabatic work done per cycle W is equal to our area. We know that work is area under a curve, right? So it is equal to area under 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. Now focusing on that, we can say that area under, I have plotted some extra points at point number 6 and point number 5. So we can say that area under 6, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 5. Okay, total area minus area under 6, 4, 3 and 5, which we can minus out. So we can get our area under 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. Now if you see carefully, the area under 6, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5 is resembling to our case of compression without clearance. Remember that case. So in the next step, okay, so in this step I have directly written, as we have already seen how to determine this further. So I have written the result gamma upon gamma minus 1 P2 V2 minus P1 V1. Okay, this is the equation for work input for our case of area under 6, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 5. Okay, minus subtracting our area under 6, 4, 3 and 5, that area. So it is equal to minus gamma upon gamma minus 1 P3 V3 minus P4 V4. Now from a PV diagram it is very clear that P3 is equal to P2 and P1 is equal to P4. So in our next step what I am going to do, I am going to place P2 in place of P3 and P1 in place of P4. So final equation W is equal to gamma upon gamma minus 1 P2 V2 minus P1 V1, which is our work input for our area 6, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5 minus gamma upon gamma minus 1 P2 V3 minus P1 V4. Now what we are going to do in the next step, it is very predictable. Now I am going to take P1 V1 common out. So gamma upon gamma minus 1 P1 V1. So in a bracket P2 V2 upon P1 V1 minus 1. Okay. Minus gamma upon gamma minus 1. Now taking P1 V4 common out, so we can write P2 V3 upon P1 V4 minus 1. Let's say this is our equation number 1. Now as we know that from our law of adiabatic process applying at state 3 and state 4, we can write P3 V3 raised to gamma is equal to P4 V4 raised to gamma. From this equation we can write V3 by V4 is equal to P3 by P4 raised to minus 1 by gamma. Now as we know that P3 is equal to P2 and P1 is equal to P4, so we can write it is equal to P2 by P1 raised to minus 1 by gamma. Now let's see our next further step. In our further step, by substituting our equation number 2 in equation number 1, we get work done W is equal to gamma upon gamma minus 1 P1 V1 in a bracket P2 by P1 raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma minus 1 minus gamma upon gamma minus 1 P1 V4 in a bracket P2 by P1 raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma minus 1. Okay, now further simplifying this equation, it is very clear we can take the bracket term common out. So we can write in the next step gamma upon gamma minus 1 P1 in a bracket V1 minus V4 and that bracket term, that is P2 by P1 raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma minus 1. Okay, now this was a case of our work input for compression process, considering a case with clearance volume for adiabatic process. Now if there is a polytropic process, so we can directly replace our gamma by polytropic index n. So the equation is going to remain same, just we need to place polytropic index small n. So we can write W is equal to n upon n minus 1 P1 in a bracket V1 minus V4 and in a bracket P2 by P1 raised to n minus 1 upon n minus 1. So I hope that you are clear with the derivation of this topic considering clearance volume. Okay, now let's see our next topic, that is volumetric efficiency, which is based on this process, that is compression with clearance case. So what is volumetric efficiency? Let's first define it. It is defined as the ratio of effective swept volume or effective stroke volume to the stroke volume of a cylinder. So we know that effective stroke volume or swept volume is a one from which a fresh air starts to enter into a cylinder. Okay, and from that point fresh air enters into a cylinder till it reaches its BDC position, whereas swept volume or stroke volume of a cylinder is a one that is a distance from or a volume from TDC to BDC. Okay, now we have to represent it mathematically, so I have written eta V, that is volumetric efficiency, is equal to V1 minus V4. So this can be obtained directly from our PV diagram. As you can see that VAS is equal to V1 minus V4 and Vs, that is our stroke volume of a cylinder, is equal to V1 minus V3. So seeing our next step further, I have written V1 minus V4 upon V1 minus Vc. So we can say that Vc is a clearance volume which is equal to our volume V3. At point number 3 you can clearly see that is representing a TDC position. So that volume is our clearance volume. So I have just denoted by Vc. Further, in the next step, we are directly going to place a denominator as Vs, that is our swept volume of a cylinder. Okay, this is just for your reference. So in the next step further, you can see that I have substituted a value of volume V1. So see a graph carefully. The total volume V1 can be written as a summation of a clearance volume and a stroke volume, that is Vc plus Vs. So in that place, I have written directly that is Vc plus Vs minus V4 upon Vs. Okay. Now further, in the next step, we are going to arrange numerator in terms of denominator. So what I have done, I have taken Vs separately and in a bracket I have written V4 minus Vc. So we can write Vs minus in a bracket V4 minus Vc upon Vs. Now in the next step, we can say that we can cancel out Vs, splitting the terms and cancelling out Vs from numerator and denominator. We can write it is equal to 1 minus in a bracket Vc minus Vs. Now in this step, I have taken Vc common out from a bracket. So we can write Vc by Vs and in a bracket V4 by Vc minus 1. Now here comes a new term that is called a clearance ratio. So clearance ratio is defined as a ratio of clearance volume to a swept volume. Yes, that is Vc by Vs is called clearance ratio and it is denoted by capital C. So in the next step, I have directly placed Vc by Vs as a clearance ratio capital C. So the equation becomes 1 minus C in a bracket V4 by Vc. Now over here Vc can be written as V3, right? So in this step I have written V4 by V3 minus 1 because C is equal to Vc by Vs and Vc is equal to V3. Now let's see our next further step. So in the next step we have to apply polytropic process on our 3 to 4, that is from state 3 to state 4. So we can write P3 V3 raised to n is equal to P4 V4 raised to n. Now determining V4 by V3. Why? Because we need to substitute this value in our equation of volumetric efficiency. So V4 by V3 is equal to P3 by P4 raised to 1 by n. Okay. Further, we also know that from a diagram you can see P3 is equal to P2 and P4 is equal to P1. So directly we can write V4 by V3 is equal to P2 by P1 raised to 1 by n. Now this value of V4 by V3 can be directly substituted in our equation of volumetric efficiency. So we can write eta V is equal to 1 minus C in a bracket P2 by P1 raised to 1 by n minus 1. So this is our final equation of volumetric efficiency. This is the most important derivation which is actually usually asked in your examination. Okay guys, so I hope that you are clear with this topic of volumetric efficiency and a compression with clearance volume case. Now today we are keeping up till here. In our next session we will start with our new topic, that is multi-staging of a reciprocating compressor. Till then stay tuned and thank you all.